If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post a new Tom Brady video every day.
If you didn't know the story of Brady, you just were Von Miller and here's a quarterback. And you didn't know his history. Did Brady do something special? Maybe it's pre-snap. Did you sense when you played Brady, because to be the greatest ever, it's one thing to be great. It's another to be literally have a trophy room in your house. Yeah. Like, what is it about Tom that when you face, it does feel different, Vaughn?
It does. He just has such a handle on what's going on, and what's about to happen. It's kind of like, he can predict what's about to happen from the quarterback position. He can kind of predict where wide receivers are going, what coverages is about to happen.
I'm by no means a perfect man. But the one thing that's dear to me is the game of football and how it's structured and how we owe each other what we owe each other. There's a commitment that we give each other when we step on the football field. We're going to give each other all we have. And if we can be there, we will be there no matter what. Loyalty to that process is everything to me. Troy stepped in for me at a low point. There's nothing you can ever do in your life to make me turn on him because of my loyalty to him, because he stepped in at a low point. That made my heart bleed when he went after Tom Brady. Yeah, just plain and simple made my heart bleed. I had seen Tom earlier this year at the Hall of Fame. And I took a picture with him. I posted a picture. But what we were talking about at the back of the hall, in the back room at the Hall of Fame, was Antonio Brown. Yeah. And how much he loved Antonio Brown. And I was saying, man, I shared with him about me and Troy. I said, man, I appreciate you. I said, I'm always with you for that. I'm with, because that means something to me. Yeah. Made my heart bleed.
As you got older and more famous, and do you find yourself you have just more in common with somebody like Brady? Just that because you're going through a lot of the same stuff, what it's like to be in the public eye, how you have to be reserved, how any one thing you say could get blown out, and just who do you trust? All those things that like an A+ lister has to deal with.
That may be true about some things, but I wish I had more in common with Tom Brady. I played catch with the man once and realized how very little we have in common. I mean, he was throwing the ball to me, and I thought, I was praying to God that I catch the ball, not just because I wanted to impress the guy, which I very much did, because I really thought I would get hurt if I didn't, because it shows up right in front of your face. You know what I mean? And after about 10 minutes, he was like, "You ready?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right, now I'm going to start throwing the ball." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you going to dump another 30 miles an hour on this?" Because I'm very much at my peak and really trying. And it was incredible. It was the most incredible, just not spending a ton of time around pro athletes in terms of hey, come out on the court with us or whatever. I'm sure anybody you see who's a pro or a semi-pro or a great player in college, they get into your pickup game. You really understand very quickly what the difference between excellence and a 50-year-old white man is.
With Mr. Thomas Brady moving on to Tampa, what's your favorite Brady moment? What was it like going from Buffalo, coming to New England, getting a chance to play with the GOAT?
My favorite moment was like that first day. It was like first day of workouts. I didn't know him. I knew Dev. That's the only person I knew. So I'm probably walking in Dev's back pocket, all right, show me how, what's going on here. And I see Tom. I'm like, all right, this is Tom Brady. I gotta, shoulders back. Go look him in the eye. Remember what I'm talking. He walked right up to me, knew exactly who I was, and asked me what position I'd like to play the most. I swear I was stunned. I was like, X.
And also just watch what he's done. It's like, I don't know who has, there are very, very few. Serena Williams. How many people have really, Michael Jordan, how many people could really relate to that? LeBron, obviously do very well, making a bunch of comparisons among people like that. And you understand that really well, but, and could detail and nuance it much better than I could. But ultimately, at the end of the day, there's 10 people, men and women, who have done, made that level of what they do. So I have some things in common with Tom. I like to think like people both know who we are sometimes, and we were in New England, and but there's sort of about it.
How crazy was it? Because we used to play you in Buffalo. Each time we played you in Buffalo, you might get 5 targets in the game.
Yeah.
You probably catch 4 or 5 of them. And we watch film, you show up sometimes, but every time against us, you have at least 5 catches for like 60 yards. And Bill would be cursing himself. So how did it feel?
Because you put Chung on me and tried to mess me up with Chung during those games. Sorry, see if you're listening or hear
this. How did it feel? You leave Buffalo and you come to New England, and it's like, damn, I'm getting the ball, I'm catching touchdowns. Why did this take so long?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the other side of it for 4 years trying to beat you, trying to beat New England, and Buffalo was like, that was our Super Bowl every single game. And then you go and you see how like another organization does it. You're playing with Tom, you're playing with guys like Jules and those guys. I mean, it was a dream come true, And Brady, it was just like going back to that whole thing. I did not expect him to be the way that he was, like he was just one of the guys. I was just like, this is Tom, but he's just like talking. He just got, just whatever, talking about other things about life and football. And I'm like, dude, this is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And he's just talking to me like he knows my name.
Talk about never, he has this incredible knack for maintaining discipline. And that includes like a refusal to deviate in any way from the kind of Bull Durham platitude, you know what I mean, that Kevin Costner taught Tim Robbins in that movie. No matter what they say, no matter what happens, and a lot of those people, try to be provocative. You know what I mean? In an effort to like stoke conflict in what may or may not, but quite possibly could be an environment where there is, in fact, personality conflict. And nonetheless, you just see calm, and you would never, great, just trying to win next week. Just having a good time. Just lucky to be here. Doesn't comment on what it's like being, the greatest ever. Doesn't comment on, sometimes he'll say, appropriately competitive things, and it satisfies the fans. But he has this really rare, for an athlete, because that's not their business, understanding of exactly where the line is about what to say to entertain people, and never, ever cost himself in terms of having to answer another question the next day about what he said the day before.
You're one of the most prepared athletes I've ever seen. I remember seeing all the notes you take. So what is the secret sauce for the Eagles to beat Tampa Bay and Tom Brady? Because you guys did it twice.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a secret sauce. If there's one thing that Tom Brady's good at, is winning games in different ways. He's going to do and adjust his game, by any means to win the football game. And I think that's what makes him special, is his versatility and being able to win.
Because people have talked to me about how, you get in the huddle with a guy and the whole stadium is anxious. Everyone at home is anxious. You're behind. That's what's such a great fourth quarter team. Such a great come from behind team.
Yeah.
Just going yeah, we're going to win. This is how we're going to do it. Okay, guys. They'd get there all panicked. And it was just like, no, it's not a problem. You do this, you do this, you do this. We'll figure it out. And yeah, he's looked at the defense and taken it apart and taking advantage of what he knows and all of those things. But ultimately, someone told me a similar story about Joe Montana, which I'm sure you've heard. Where
the John Candy story. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get in the huddle and they're all panicked. And he goes, hey, is that John Candy? And they all look over and, then they're just thinking about something else. And they realize, Joe's all right. He's not that uptight about this. And that's really that, I've noticed that to a much lesser degree as a director. You have to give people the sense, it's okay. Don't worry. We're going to succeed. It's all going to be fine. You can do it. Even if you don't believe it. If you don't communicate that, it's never going to happen.
Give us an idea of what it's like when Tom Brady comes out of the huddle and he's looking at you guys on defense. He knows exactly where everybody is, but does he also know what you're doing sometimes?
Yeah, well, I think you definitely got to disguise him. If you want to just show him what you're doing, he's going to read the book. He's going to know where to go with the football at all times. But he's also somebody who's very cerebral. You're not going to just fool him. But you do need to at least make his reads a little bit later with some safety rotation, hiding some of the blitzes, showing different looks, and having multiple coverages out of it.
He's great. He's gifted. Obviously they're incredibly athletically gifted quarterbacks, right? Mahomes. I mean, there are people who can do incredible things, running sideways and throw the ball 100 yards and all that stuff. And I've thought a lot about what is it that separates Tom Brady from other human beings? Why is he able to do this? Because he has a great arm. Like I've talked to a lot of other players. Why? And they'll go, yeah, he's got a good arm. Yeah, he's really accurate. Or he makes decisions. Like you get little pieces. You know what I mean? Or he wants to win, or he knows how to get along with people, or he knows how he's a good leader, and he connects with people. But there are a lot of people like that. And my theory, and maybe just because it relates to my own work, is that, and kind of what I get from him and from watching him, the difference between him and other people is that he just doesn't have that part of the brain that gets nervous. He doesn't get tight. And getting tight ruins. That's why guys drop the ball in the clutch play. You know what I mean? And we've all seen it. There are famous instances. The plays they make 10,000 times. The ground ball right in your hands. These moments that it's like, why didn't I do that? This is what I've been doing since childhood, And also that sort of Seattle throwing the interception, that kind of panicked uncertainty that happens when everything's on the line. Because even when we were playing catch, we weren't just playing catch. He would say, all right, it's the Super Bowl. We're on the 16-yard line. It's fourth down. We have 6 seconds. We win this, it's everything. We miss, it's over. And I even just listening to him, I'm out there in just a field of grass, you know what I mean? But I thought I was like, I'm going to catch this. Oh, it kills me. I will do anything to catch this ball. And I went out, it was a little, and I because I was so slow, it was a little past me. And of course I leapt out and dove and flipped him. I think I was doing Batman at the time. I was like, never mind my career, never mind my aging body.
That's it for this video. I post a new Tom Brady video every day, so please like and subscribe. That way you'll always have a new Tom Brady video to watch every single day.